Political tensions are rising in South Africa's Western Cape after the province's opposition party called for the immediate resignation of Premier Winde. The demand comes from the provincial caucus of the African National Congress, commonly known as the ANC, following a heated legislative oversight meeting that focused on the Premier's department and questions surrounding undisclosed international travel. At the center of the controversy is whether Winde failed to properly declare sponsored trips to the United States and whether his response to an ethics investigation undermines the credibility of democratic oversight institutions. Here's what happened, why it matters, and what it could mean for the politics of the Western Cape. The oversight meeting that sparked the controversy. The dispute unfolded during a special meeting of the Standing Committee on the Premier and Constitutional Matters in the provincial legislature. This committee plays a crucial role in South Africa's provincial governance system. It is responsible for monitoring the activities of the provincial executive, evaluating how departments spend public funds, and ensuring that legislation is implemented properly. During discussions about the budgets of the departments of the Premier, members of the ANC caucus questioned Premier Winde about findings made earlier by the legislature's Conduct Committee. That committee had investigated allegations that the Premier failed to disclose sponsored international travel to the United States as required by parliamentary ethics rules. Disclosure rules are designed to ensure transparency and prevent conflicts of interest among public officials. When travel is funded by external sponsors, political leaders are expected to declare the trips so the public can assess whether there may be any influence on decision-making. The Premier's response. During the meeting, Premier Winde said he respects the appeals process of the Conduct Committee. However, he also raised concerns about how the committee handled the investigation. Specifically, Winde questioned whether the committee correctly applied a legal principle known as audi alteram partem. In simple terms, this rule means let the other side be heard. It is a fundamental concept in many legal systems, requiring decision-makers to give someone a fair opportunity to respond before a judgment is made against them. Winde's comments suggested he believed he had not been given a sufficient chance to present his case before the committee reached its conclusions. ANC accuses Winde of double standards and delinquency. The ANC caucus reacted strongly to those remarks. In a statement released after the meeting, the party accused the Premier of showing double standards and delinquency. According to the ANC, the Premier cannot claim to respect the committee's appeals process while simultaneously questioning the integrity of the body conducting the investigation. The party also pointed out that the Conduct Committee he criticized is largely composed of members from the governing Democratic Alliance, or DA, the same party to which Winde belongs. Because of that, the ANC argues the Premier's criticism raises questions about his own government's commitment to accountability. The caucus said the situation demonstrates what it describes as a lack of respect for democratic oversight institutions. In its statement, the ANC went even further, declaring that Winde is unfit to hold office and calling on him to resign immediately. Why ethics and disclosure rules matter. While political disputes over ethics investigations are not unusual, transparency rules are considered a key part of South Africa's democratic system. Elected officials at national, provincial, and local levels must declare financial interests, gifts, and sponsored travel. These disclosures help prevent corruption, influence peddling, and conflicts of interest. Civil society organizations and governance experts often emphasize that even minor failures to disclose can damage public trust, particularly in a country where concerns about corruption have been a major political issue for years. Experts warn that when leaders appear to challenge oversight processes, it can weaken confidence in the institutions meant to enforce ethical conduct. Political context in the Western Cape. The dispute also highlights the unique political dynamics of the Western Cape, and like most provinces in South Africa which are governed by the ANC, the Western Cape has been under the leadership of the Democratic Alliance for more than a decade. The DA first took control of the province in 2009 and has maintained its majority in subsequent elections. Premier Winde has led the provincial government since 2019. Because the ANC is the main opposition party in the province, disagreements between the two political groups often become highly visible during legislative oversight meetings. Analysts say the latest controversy is likely to intensify those tensions as political parties prepare for upcoming electoral cycles and attempt to strengthen their public credibility. Opposition pressure and accountability debate. Opposition leaders argue that public officials must be held to the highest standards of transparency. An ANC spokesperson in the legislature said the Premier should take responsibility and step down if he has failed to comply with disclosure rules. Political analysts say such calls for resignation are often used to highlight accountability concerns and place pressure on governing parties to demonstrate ethical leadership. However, it remains unclear whether the Democratic Alliance leadership believes the situation warrants such a drastic step. At this stage, there has been no indication that the DA plans to remove Winde from office. Possible outcomes. So what happens next? There are several possible scenarios. First, the appeals process mentioned by Premier Winde could continue. If the Conduct Committee's findings are reviewed, the outcome could either confirm the original conclusions or modify them. Second, the provincial legislature may hold further oversight hearings or debates about the issue. And third, the political pressure could continue to build, particularly if new information emerges about the travel disclosures. Experts say these kinds of investigations can take time, especially when legal procedures and appeals are involved. What this means for the public. For ordinary South Africans, disputes like this raise broader questions about transparency, accountability, and trust in political leadership. Public confidence in government institutions often depends on whether leaders follow the same rules they expect others to obey. Here's what that means for citizens. Even procedural issues like travel disclosures can become important tests of democratic accountability. As one governance analyst explained, ethics rules exist to protect public trust. When leaders comply with them fully, it strengthens confidence in the system. The controversy surrounding Premier Alan Winde's travel disclosures has quickly become a major political flashpoint in the Western Cape. The ANC is demanding his resignation, accusing him of undermining the integrity of legislative oversight. Winde, meanwhile, has raised concerns about whether the investigation followed proper legal procedures. As the appeals process unfolds, the debate is likely to continue both inside the provincial legislature and in the broader political arena. For now, the key question remains unresolved. Will this controversy fade after procedural reviews, or could it develop into a larger political challenge for the Western Cape? South Africans will be watching closely in the weeks ahead.